Spectre is the 24th James Bond movie in the official Eon production series, and stars Daniel Craig in his 4th outing as the titular character, Agent 007, and this film is about him being sent by this cryptic message to uncovering this criminal organization with a villain who may have had a relation with him. And in the process of this, M, played by Fiennes, is trying to keep the agency alive, also with a 00 program alive, and James Bond ends up doing a lot of things differently in this movie than we've seen in previous Daniel Craig movies. For one, he actually is kind of like the James Bond we're used to seeing. He beds women, gets into more car chases, has more action, and is just that type of cool, suave guy that we want to be. He's now become that guy that we've always known him for, like in GoldenEye. Now, if you guys should know one thing about me, is that James Bond is very important to me. And I own so much collectible stuff from him. I got posters all over, stuff I got. This big poster I got last year when I was in Washington, D.C., and I have the entire James Bond collection on Blu-ray, and I actually did a Blu-ray unboxing video, and I also have Skyfall on Blu-ray, which is my favorite 007 film. So going into Spectre, I obviously had high expectations. Look guys, Daniel Craig, I believe in this movie, is awesome, and I really think that since Skyfall, to me, he really solidified himself to being an awesome Bond. And I think this movie carries it on even further as he tries to go back to the more 007 formula roots, which kind of seems a little bit cliched, but it's pretty fun to watch what he does in the movie. It really is. Because he's back to being the suave, cool guy that we always know him to be. And another thing that I just have to praise is the cinematography. It's beautiful. It's one of the best shot movies I've seen this year, and one of the best shot movies I've seen so far this decade. It is beautiful. Sam Mendes as a director really knows how to do stuff. Another thing I was really excited to see was the henchman in the film, and it's played by Bautista. Now, most people don't know who that is, and he was recently in Guardians of the Galaxy. He played the big guy Drax, and I was really interested to see what his character had in store in this movie. And oh my god, is that man huge. And that eventually leads to one of the most suspenseful fights I've ever seen in my life on a train. I'm not going to spoil it to you guys what happens. You have to watch it because it is absolutely breathtaking. And yes, I know that even though she's only in one scene, technically, I really like Monica Bellucci. I mean, just in general, because she is just amazing. Now guys, as I just previously stated, James Bond truly is a part of my life. It's just incredibly influential to me, and my father was the man who said, you know what, let's watch him, because he loves James Bond, loved him all his life. So it's very important to him, and I really just enjoyed watching this movie. So when I talk about the things I didn't like about this movie, please note that I did enjoy it. For one, the one thing that I think I truly just wasn't the biggest fan of was the villain. Now look, you put Christoph Waltz in a movie, he'll probably be the best part of it. To me, he was kind of the worst aspect of the movie, because as a villain, although it was set up really well, it just wasn't written the way I expected it to be, and it didn't go to the emotional depths I thought it would have been. Now, I know a lot of people say that they like this person, but to be honest, guys, I really think that the biggest issue with the movie, for me, was the actual Bond girl. To be honest with you guys, I just really couldn't get into this character. She just seemed kind of like this girl that just needed to be saved. However, she did know her way with guns, which was kind of cool and all. But to me, she kind of felt like the usual damsel in distress, and James Bond had to go save her and stuff like that. And it just kind of felt a little like we've seen this definitely before. And there's one scene in particular that, this is a spoiler warning just to tell you guys, so if you haven't seen Spectre, I'm going to put the time where you guys can click to in the video. But guys, there's a scene in the film where they end up just making out, and it feels very awkward because you go from one scene where they're completely contradicting each other to them just instantly falling in love. Like she states that she loves him really quickly. She only met him a couple days ago, yet she's practically saying, hey, I love you. It just felt a little too forced, and it felt very awkward to me. And then I think another major problem, and this is my last problem with the movie, is the actual script. Now, if you guys may or may not know, this script had to go under a certain amount of rewrites due to the Sony hacks of 2014. And because of this, they had to change a lot of what happens in the movie, and it's kind of noticeable during the second half of the film. I'm going to be honest with you. There are a couple things where I'm like, yeah, it kind of feels like that was a rewrite, or they had to change this to make it like this. And, I mean, it flowed fine. It's just that I felt like it created a little bit of inconsistency in terms of the tone. However, I do think that for a solid film, this movie is action-packed. If you didn't think Skyfall had enough action, you will absolutely love this movie. And I think this movie is more action-oriented than anything. So if you guys love action, then you will definitely enjoy Spectre for sure. So in the end, guys, Spectre was a fun movie to see. I actually had a good time. I thought it was a good movie. I just didn't think it was really as great as it could have been. And compared to Skyfall, it's just okay. However, I do highly recommend that you guys go and see this movie because I really think it's a good movie that you can enjoy, and I think the critics are hammering it a little bit too hard. Just don't listen to the critics. Go and see the movie, and if you like it, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. But in the end, guys, I'm going to give Spectre a B+. Well, thank you guys for watching another one on movie reviews. I appreciate this as always. And of course, guys, click that like button and send me some comments on what movies you want me to review next. And I will definitely be delivering for that for you guys. I will be reviewing all Star Wars movies in preparation for The Force Awakens December 18th. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching as always, and stay tuned.